Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking with BJ Wallace from TBL Property Maintenance. Not only is BJ running TBL Property Maintenance with five guys working for him, but he's also a podcaster with Into the Green podcast. And more importantly, he's in the past couple of years started up an expo for all things in the green industry. A couple of years ago was his first attempt in Queensland. And then last year he did three in the 1 year in Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. And Melbourne went so well that this year he's just doing it in Melbourne, and all of the proceeds from the events have gone to charity. So he's doing it for charity, and he talks about the reasons why he started it. So we talk plenty about the expo coming up because I think it's an awesome thing to get behind, and I'll be heading along as well. But he's also got plenty of business experience and he's got a very unique way of how he got into the business and the reasons why. But he's obviously got a great work ethic, and that's one of the things he points out about the importance of working hard. And not surprisingly, the harder you work, the better results you get. So he's an awesome person to talk to. Love chatting to him. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with BJ Wallace. BJ, thank you for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. My first question for you is, how did you start in the industry?
How did I start in the industry? Well, it's a bit of a story. I'll take you back to 2014. I was in logistics. I basically ran a night shift, and on my way to work, I got hit by a drunk driver head on in my wife's brand new Prado, and destroyed that and destroyed myself in the process. And I was working for a big company, and basically through work cover and stuff, you lose all your overtime, and I couldn't fulfill my role, got demoted. And while I was getting demoted, we were going through insurance, and I knew I was going to get payout. So talking to Ben Van der Giesen from Catch Pro, who's also my second cousin, he's like, why don't you try mowing lawns? I was getting pretty fat from sitting around. Like, obviously I was injured for a while there, and I was just like, it could work, and decided to start my first business with our payout and became the bearded lawnsman. And that's about it, man. It was a crazy story, a bit of a weird journey to start a business, but sometimes you just need that kick up the ass and a bit of coin in the pocket.
Were you enjoying the work you're doing beforehand, or were you just doing it just?
I enjoyed the people.
Yeah.
Did not like the work. I missed a lot of my kids' younger years, my first two daughters, because of that job, because I would work at really obscure hours, and basically I would get home just as they were getting up for school, and then I'd go to bed, and then I'd wake up as they were coming home from school, and I'd be awake a couple of hours, and I'd have to chuck off to work. So it was an unfortunate situation, but it was one that our life situation at the time, there was no, I didn't really have a pivot. It sounds funny because everyone's like, oh, you always got a choice. But we had a daughter with severe special needs, and my wife was a full-time carer, and I had no skills. I didn't have any trade skills or anything like that. And I just sort of, I probably could have left for a laborer's job, but it was working for us. I was getting paid enough just to make ends meet. So yeah, once I had the accident, it all sort of fell apart from there. And I have to admit, I love the people, really good people. But yeah, that company sort of said some bad things, and yeah, away we went.
Yeah, that would have been difficult as well if you're working there because you like the people and then you start working by yourself, I assume.
It was a bit of a lonely first couple of years, but I always had Ben on the other side of the phone, and we've got a landscaper mate up here from Live Outdoors. His name's Shorey, and there's another guy, Tyson. I didn't really talk to him much. He was another contractor. He actually ended up with his own franchise, EPMS, up here in Brisbane, and he used to throw me a little bit of work. So yeah, make some connections, and then you start to talk to your customers more, and you find ways. Thank
Yeah.
God for mobile phones.
Yeah.
Because it was a lonely first couple of years, but I'm guessing that most people start off solo. But yeah, and then I got my first big break was a big village, and it just sort of rolled on from there. I got that one big village, which was 12 acres with 100 houses on it. So I needed someone.
Is that like a retirement village kind of
It
thing?
wasn't, it's like a housing estate. It wasn't really a retirement village. It was more like a kind of like a lifestyle village with a pool and a few other amenities and yeah, needed someone for that. So I just started burning through staff because, I didn't have a lot of experience hiring, but I sure as shit got a lot of experience firing because yeah, I had some duds, but I did meet some great people along the way, and that's the thing with this sort of business is when you meet someone who like has it like something that you're desiring in a worker, then most times they'll break off and they'll do something on their own. So yeah, and not too long after I got that first one, I got a second one, and that was just as big. And yeah, it just sort of grew from there. We never really advertised. Like I'm not the poster child for most the way most businesses sort of should start, but it's all been word of mouth and networking. Networking has been amazing for me, and yeah, it's just gone really well since.
And was the name of the business the Bearded Lawnsman?
It was. It was the bearded lawnsman, and it really got across well on most platforms. Like I did tell a lie. The advertising we did was on Facebook, and my wife Louise was a killer on the mums groups. So the local mums pages at that time when I started, there was a massive mining boom. So a lot of people were going away to the mines, and yeah, they needed services to come in and take care of things while they're away, and yeah, it just kind of all fell into place, really. We did have some bad weather the first 3 years with any business, I guess, but particularly up here in Brisbane, we had just terrible weather. We were driving past jobs for up to 6 weeks at a time, and that really hits the pocket. I didn't have enough money to sort of diversify with pressure cleaning and stuff yet. And yeah, it just even I got to a point where I was going to actually go and work at a mower shop, a local mower shop for a couple of days a week. But yeah, sort of got ourselves out, and yeah, sort of kicking goals ever since, really.
What was the first mower that you bought?
My first, yeah, my first mower was a reconditioned Honda 196, the old school with the full chute, and I put that through absolute hell. Fantastic mower, but my first ride on didn't come that long after because I had a bit of cash in my pocket from the payout. I actually got a residential walker, a second-hand one from New South Wales, and when it got delivered up here, it got delivered to my mechanic, who was a brilliant guy, and he rang them straight away and said, "You've advertised this as A1 mechanical, 100% beautiful machine, and it's a piece of shit. If you don't send us all the parts, then I'm telling him to take you to court." And they did. They sent all the parts up. They replaced it all. I obviously had to pay for labor and a few bits and pieces, but yeah, it was a good machine until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that was purely like we were, I didn't know like how maintenance heavy they are. Amazing machines, but they are quite maintenance heavy. And yeah, that's the sort of way I learned that oil is cheaper than engines.
Yeah, I've done that with a Ute actually.
Oh no way! Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
mine was a $9,000 Walker. I'm sure your Ute was a little bit more expensive than that.
yeah, got a new engine though, so it's good.
Yeah, yeah. That's
It was an upgrade. I don't think the Ute liked it though. It,
no, no. They don't normally like it. It's something I haven't had to worry about because yeah, I've got my truck and I'm still getting free services at the moment, and I'm hoping that actually runs out soon, so I'm gonna have to start paying for them. I'm not looking forward to it.
yeah. So did you have much of a plan when you started, or you just sort of would just
Ah,
start
Not
doing
as
residential and see what happens?
all it was a hit and hope. It was just a way out, I think. Like I did need a change, and yeah, I didn't really think about a plan. Like I said, like I am not a poster child for anyone who's starting a business. I'm a very sporadic wing it kind of guy. And I think with that, I've had a lot of lucky breaks. So when people ask me for advice, I always put at the end, this is just my opinion. Please do not leave it at one opinion. Make sure you get others. I like to think I know a little bit about a little bit, but I'm not an expert by any means.
Yeah, I don't know. There is like every now and then I'll talk to someone who like they just started things out perfectly and everything is sort of the textbook is how you want to start. But
Yeah.
like I've spoken to some of the best landscape designers in the world and they didn't charge when they started out. They were doing free designs to start with, so which is not
Yeah.
recommended. So yeah, there's plenty of ways to get to where you are. There's not like a one path that works and the rest don't. So there's
Yeah.
yeah, heaps of different styles.
Well, it all depends on you as a person as well, how willing you are to hustle. Like I'll segue onto the our expo. Like we we sort of have started from nothing and now we're growing in our own expo. It's not about like anything else, but how hard we've hustled to make sure that people are aware of it and people actually are willing to pay money to come to the expo and show off their goods. So yeah, I think like it comes down to an individual. You see people that sometimes, they do great work, but they they aren't driven to do any better and they think maybe the work's going to come to them, but at the end of the day, like you really do have to go, especially when you're first starting, you really have to go and seek out those good opportunities. It only takes one though to sort of free up your, I don't know, financials to sort of pursue more work because that's how I found it. As soon as I had that security of the one village, it took a weight off my shoulders and then I started pursuing others and then like it just became very lucrative and yeah, it is down to the individual, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you say, I find the more money you've got, the easier it is to make money because you've got more.
Yeah,
Whereas where you've got no money, all you've got to do is hard work, and then you've got to graft your way out. But yeah, and then it's like a bell curve. It starts going up higher the more you get, and then so when you combine money with work ethic, that's when you keep continuing up as well.
I think you're 100% right. It is hard to start from scratch, but realistically, when I started my business, it wasn't like I went out and bought a ute maybe 2 months before I quit my full-time job. And then I just bought a Stonegate 5x8 trailer, push mower, combi tool, and a dedicated whippy and a little Echo hand blower. And that was it. I just had, maybe I had a little pump sprayer, but that was it. And I just went out and yeah, showed some grit and got stuck in. And one of my one of my first jobs was there's a suburb called Jimboomba, and I push mowed 6 foot grass, and it was a half acre block. The before and afters are amazing, but I took three 5x8 trailer loads away, and that was me knocking it down with an open catcher, and yeah, just raking it up, loading it on the trailer.
Imagine if you had have had a GoPro set up for it. Yeah,
Oh,
views it would
mate,
have
Tim the lawn man would have had nothing on me.
got.
It would have been a 45 minute sped up video. Yeah, literally it was like 3 days and my wife came with me one day and she was like, "Oh, I'm not doing this." And I was like, "Fair enough." So she never came back and yeah, it was good. It was a good learning curve for me not to take jobs over the phone really. It was a friend of a friend and they said, "Yeah, come do it." Didn't I didn't know what I was going. I'll send them to you after this. It was a shocker. But again, like it was really good advertising because yeah, I just got one of those free apps and I did a before and after and posted it on my socials and yeah, it went well. But I will say that that's the kind of work that I got from that post.
Yeah,
It wasn't the end result. It was all about, oh, that looks terrible. Let's get it in to fix our terrible shit yard.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Quite often, yeah, it's one of the things I say a lot is you'll get more of what you post about. So if you don't want to do that kind of stuff, you don't want to put it on your Instagram.
Yeah, I know. I yeah, it was a big fail for me that one. But again, I look back at it now and laugh and think, geez, like I don't know if I could do that now. That was a long time ago, really.
Would have burned through some fuel too, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. 100%. You know what though? I still I miss the old Shinaiwa T260s before the before they did all the fuel emissions changes. That machine lasted me like 6 years after that job. It was an absolute beast. So yeah, shout out to those T260s from back in the day.
Yeah, when I listen to Luke and other, so Luke from the Australian Lawn and Garden podcast and other people on talking about mowers and all sorts of things, I wish I knew what they were talking about a lot of the times when you mentioned the
Oh, sorry, mate.
yeah. No, but it's because there's one I see mentioned a lot, which is a really common one. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, it's because there's other things I know of and I can picture them, but then yeah, I hear
Well,
them.
that's why I was a little bit worried because, like, I'm a grass cutter at heart. Like, most of my work is large acreage. I do have a crew of there's six of us at the moment, so I do have a bunch of villages that my guys will go out and look after, and then I also have a street crew, and they'll go and look after some of the smaller acreages. And my week sort of consists of 40 acres here, 35 acres there. I'm lucky enough to mow like all of the Wynnum Manly and Loader foreshore during summer. We have a bit of council work. We do some parks, and yeah, I love just plugging my tunes in and making long grass short and sort of making nice areas for people to sort of do their thing on. But yeah, it's going to shut down real soon. But it's good timing with the expo coming up. That's just why it's so good for me because it's about 3 months before the expo, and yeah, everything's starting to slow down a little bit. It's raining again here in Brisbane. We were talking before, like the mental amount of rain that we've had up here has certainly uh, put a put a stick up the arse of our weeks. We haven't really had a full week. I think this week was the first full week actually that we've had in a while.
Yeah, right.
Last week we didn't get a full week because someone was away, but yeah, no, it's been good. The last 2 weeks, it's sort of been okay, but yeah, like I said before as well, before we started, the yards are just cactus. Some of them are we're just spinning tires on them and making them not look as pretty as I like. So yeah, we just have to back away for a bit and wait for this little bit of bad weather to pass, and yeah, start
Yeah.
again.
And that was one of the things I mentioned when we were talking about that surprised me that I hadn't thought of it before is how, like, as a landscaper, I just don't want it to rain at all because I don't like mud. I want to get work done. And you can't work when it's raining, but if there's no rain, the grass doesn't grow. So
Yeah.
you kind of need like a perfect amount, which will yeah make it stressful. It can be stressful both ways.
Yeah, well, like we have like a Goldilocks period up here in Brisbane where it sort of transitions from summer to winter, and we have a sort of a week. Well, it's probably about a month where like we have really nice temperatures and we have really nice weather, and it really didn't happen this year. 2 weeks of that was just complete, yeah, a bit of a write off, unfortunately. But yeah, most years we do have a Goldilocks period that we all look forward to, and we're like hedges are slowing, the grass is slowing, but the temperatures are high, so everything's perfect and green. And yeah, it does suck though. Like we have lost a lot of time this year from bad weather, and we had a cyclone for the first time since like 74 or something like that.
All right.
Yeah, and it actually crossed very close to where I live. Like I'm in the Redlands, so I'm just under Brisbane, and yeah, like I said, it wasn't really the cyclone that kicked off the really wet ground because we hadn't had a lot of rain up until then. And then the cyclone that popped over from Western Australia, we got all the backlash from that basically, and it came across and just absolutely flooded us. Those central Queensland floods were insane.
Yeah, it's just next level. Like we don't get anything like look, our weather's pretty. It's funny everyone talks about the 4 seasons in one day in Victoria, but it's always pretty consistent. Like you don't get those torrential downpours. Like it just if it rains, it's a little bit of rain.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just inconceivable to think of when you haven't seen it.
Well, we came down towards the start of the year and it was pretty dry flying in. I was like, whoa, not much green around. But yeah, I'm assuming that most of the properties that you guys take care of are like they're fully irrigated and
Yeah.
yeah. So it doesn't matter what's happening around. It's you guys are Yeah,
Yeah.
kicking goals. Do you do maintenance or do you just do design now?
No, just design and construction.
Yeah,
When I
nice.
started out, the second phase of the business, I did maintenance just because I was sort of building again, so I just needed to
Yep.
get anything I could. But yeah, you need to have you need to let the cobblers cobble. So you either do one or the other. And if you're gonna be do landscape construction and also do maintenance, you need to have specialist maintenance people, not people who do a bit of
Yeah.
both. Like it's
Yep.
okay if they sort of do a little bit to sort of understand how things go, but you need specialists doing what they do, I think.
Are you pretty strict when you do an install? You'll veto the contractors that are allowed to come in there and take care of your designs?
No, we've only got the one. Like we've only got one, but that's just because I know him and trust him.
Yeah.
So that's Sean from Pure Turf.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I just had a look at his page earlier, actually.
Yeah,
He's on a group thread, and it wasn't. I already follow him on. I've got multiple pages because I got my
yeah,
own podcast as well. But yeah, I was just having a look, just scrolling through his pages before. So yeah, he does some awesome work.
yeah. I
It's
reckon
nice down there.
out of one of the projects that he looks after, there's one project that he looks after that we didn't do. And I think the rest of them we might have done all of them potentially.
Nice. Jeez,
Um,
that's good.
yeah, good fella though. Talking about the expo, was last year the first one that you did?
Last year was a bit of a beta test for doing it along the East Coast, but the first one was the year before. We did it up here in Brisbane. I shouldn't say we because I did the whole thing by myself. So my wife didn't actually know what I was doing, and she rocked up on the day to sell raffle tickets. And her sister-in-law was with her, and she rocked up, and there was like, yeah, it was pretty big. Like the brands all came firing, and we had, I think we had like $15,000 worth of prizes to give away. And yeah, basically, like I said before, like I just winged the whole thing, and it
But where'd the idea
kind of
come from to start it?
so the actual idea came, my daughter was like I mentioned before, she was pretty severely disabled. She was fine, like 100% fine. And one day she wasn't looking 100%. We took her to the hospital, and within 24 hours, we were sort of saying goodbye. And like it was just a complete shock, broke all of us in half. And yeah, like the community from LMCA sort of just got around us and supported us. Like we just couldn't imagine have like I don't have much family, so when I talk to my friends and that, like they were like my family, the LMCA family. So yeah, they absolutely got around us and like helped us pay. Like Luke Smith started a GoFundMe, and they all put in money and stuff, and yeah, it really got us through. I was able to have a little bit of time off work without having to worry about everything, and helped us sort of send her off in like an amazing fashion, how she deserved. And yeah, from that, like I didn't know how to say thank you, and to be honest, I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, right? But I felt like I had to do something. I had to keep my mind busy, and I have a 40-acre property, and I just thought, why not? Like I'll just put on a show. Like it wasn't going to be anything fancy, but every brand I approached, it was free for them to come. I just needed them to donate something to give away, and yeah, it just turned into something huge. And we had like 700 contractors there, 800 contractors maybe,
Yeah, right.
from all over Australia, not just Queensland. And yeah, they all came, and they all supported big time. So we raised $15,000 on that day for the Red Kite Foundation. So yeah, it sort of grew from that. We saw it, and we thought, we can we can sort of honor her memory in the show, and we can always donate. So last year we did three shows. So we did one in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney, and we knew that the pool of money that we could sort of make at each show would be a little bit watered down because we had so many contractors at the first one. And I didn't really advertise it anywhere else but LMCA, and a little bit on my Facebook and my Instagram. But yeah, we raised 5,000 for each of the children's hospitals in each city, and this year we're supporting Heart Kids, so we're hoping to go above and beyond. And it's a struggle between like donating and how much we actually are charging people to come because it's an expensive exercise. People think, oh, they're just doing it on a plot of land. It's like, no, we're doing it at Caribbean Park in Melbourne this year. Super expensive. And we've got all the equipment we have to buy, all the insurances are when you're throwing power equipment around. So we like love the power equipment side of things. But yeah, it's very expensive to let people jump on machines and demo machines and have the insurances. Like, yeah, it is an expensive exercise. So
And I heard you got
yeah, like
a bucking bull there as well.
we,
Is it?
we have a mechanical bull. So I spoke to Milwaukee the other day. They're throwing up a prize for whoever can stay on the longest. There's a scoreboard and stuff. So that's going to be awesome. Everyone has to sign an individual waiver for that
Yeah,
one. So
so
but no, that's look, I'm the kind of person. My mum moved out when I was really young. I was 17, paying my rent. I used to throw parties, so it's always something that I love doing. And yeah, this is no different. Like I love the community that is kind of growing, and we have Lawns by Leroy. I don't know if you've seen him on Instagram. He's a loose unit, but he's an amazing person. He's filling a bus with people in Brisbane and stopping off in Sydney, picking up some more people, and he's driving all the way down to the show. And we've got my supporters coming from everywhere. We got people coming from New Zealand, from Northern Territory, like up in Darwin. Yeah, hopefully, we got Luke Smith coming across from WA. And yeah, we also decided to why not do a networking night as well. And yeah, the good people at Greenworks just jumped on board that and they're sponsoring that night. So yeah, if anyone wants to check it out, like the page, the website is llee.com.au, and it's got all like it's a free event for contractors to come. Networking night is $70 for 3.5 hours of drinks, 3.5 hours of food. We have some business development guys there. We have an economist hopefully coming from NAB or one of the other banks that our good friends at International Mowers, Duncan Russell, used to be in banking. And he said, we'll find someone for you. So that's the ball's in his court for that one. But yeah, it should be an interesting night. Like we last year at Melbourne got a bit rowdy. There was a lot of drinks. Yeah, it was pretty wild. I ended up behind a container somehow, and yeah, there was a few people. We got kicked out of where we were having the after party. That one was hosted by Ego. So we have a few big sponsors like our platinum sponsors are Bush Ranger Australia and Ego, and then we have Greenworks and Skag as our gold member sponsors. So we also are giving away a zero turn. So
yeah.
yeah, that's our major prize on the day. Cenex. I don't know if you've heard of Cenex tools. So they're quite new to the Australian market. I actually went to the US last year to the Green Industry Expo. And yeah, I got to see all their stuff there. It looks pretty cool. And yeah, they called me not so long ago and said, we'd love to come to the show. And we'd also like to give you a 42-inch hybrid zero turn to give away. So yeah, it's pretty exciting, man. Like it's one of those things that I love doing. So it's not hard. Like talking to brands, like we've met so many cool people. Like yeah, obviously it's hard work, but yeah, it's fun. So it's not. I shouldn't really call it work.
Now, what date is it?
23rd of August. So we're having the show and the networking night on the same day. So we're holding it at Caribbean Park. Then we're going to the Caribbean Park Hotel. It's the Hyatt there on the same block. It's only 5 minutes stumble up the road. Some of the brands are absolutely coming for you. They're bringing beers. One of them's bringing a bar. There's going to be a DJ. Like the brands that are coming are the ones that you just know love the industry and they want to have fun. And that's what I get excited about. Everyone sort of just having a good time and meeting contractors. Like Timmy the lawnmower man's going to come down, and there'll be a bunch of people there, potentially like Gary from Aussie Lawn Stars. I don't know if you're able to make it, but
If,
yeah,
if,
well,
if them and Luke are coming, it'd be a bit rude for me not to. It
yeah,
seems I'm in the
yeah.
same
So,
state.
like, I'm enjoying the space right now. There's a lot of great people in this industry, and it's time to get face to face with them. Really, it's
But
it's yeah.
what made you choose Melbourne?
To be honest, when we did the three shows, Melbourne was our biggest turnout. Even though it was 6 degrees in the middle of the day, like I'm a big fat Queenslander, and even I was getting chilly. we yeah, we definitely got shafted by the weather on that day because it was raining and we couldn't go outside for demos. But the good thing about the space is there is a massive undercover space as well. So if we do have bad weather, the show must go on. So we just like I said before, we just wing it and we throw everyone inside. We can open up the doors, and a few of the bigger brands can still do demos near the doors. There's fans in there, so it doesn't really. Yeah, I mean, they told us we can, so we'll do it if it's safe. But yeah, we kind of had to cover our bases, so that's another reason that site is an amazing site. So perfect for what we do. The caravan and camping shows there, so very similar. Yeah, and we're just promoting like doing demos, because it's one thing for a contractor to see something, it's another to get it in your hands, or zero turns. Like, normally, and like I'm a avid supporter of supporting your local dealer, but if your local dealer doesn't have something that's going to propel your business forward, like maybe it's nice that you get the opportunity to have a look around. And yeah, there'll be a few chipper companies there, fertilizer companies, just anything really to do with the industry. We're just trying to encourage them to come. Like Felco just jumped on today, which was awesome. Yeah, we've got like bobcats, we got tractors, we got mulchers, we just got a bit of everything, really.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's some sort of logo for the expo where all the brands are sort of have their logos on there. And
Yeah,
it's insane. They're all small because there's so many fitting on the page. There's
yeah,
so
and
many
that's not
involved with
even.
it.
So I said to my wife today, I think we're gonna have to put it over 2 pages. So it'll be very cool to see, yeah, where it actually ends. Yeah, it's and the people that are jumping on are as excited as I am. So yeah, man, I'm like I'm truly excited. It's gonna be cool because it's so much work for one day. But that one day, like I last year, I had no voice. It was, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be hard for you
And
because it's like when you have a wedding, everyone wants to talk to you as well.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. Like last year, like my wife was behind the counter just selling shirts and selling tickets and just trying to raise as much money as we can. Like she works really hard at that side, and I was running around making sure everyone was happy and healthy and everyone was staying safe, and just meeting contractors. The conversations are just next level. Like you see people that you see online and you're like, oh, hey man, how are you going? Or, like, and it's a different kind of connection that sometimes gets lost. And to be honest, like I know that there's the Landscaping Association does a great show, and there's things like Farm Fest and AgQuip, but there's not really somewhere where a lawn mowing contractor or someone who um, you know, really loves this part of the industry can go and see pretty much everything you'll ever need. There are there are a few companies that haven't been as receptive. I've been hung up on one, so that was pretty funny. But they
I
just
was
won't
going to
give me
ask if
voice.
there's anyone who said no.
Look, there's been a few no's, and it's the smaller companies that don't have staff to be able to move around, and that's another reason why we chose Melbourne, because there's a lot of hubs down there. So yeah, like we're getting companies from everywhere, but the smaller ones, it's like how much do we spend on the return? And sometimes I can sort of say like it's not just the return on the day; it's a return moving forward. A lot of online businesses now that don't really see the potential in a physical store, but we just do what we can do and pursue as many people as we can, and then we try and also get like Tyac and things like that involved, like the Trade Mutt crew. We say like for those sort of people, like we're not going to charge you. Anything to do with first aid, we're not going to charge you to come. Yeah, any like the one thing that we have struggled with this year is apps, like any CRM software companies, because they're not huge companies. Like there's some out there that are running crews of like 3 and 4 people, but they've got these massive businesses and they're like, oh, we can't afford to lose the staff for a day. But yeah, that's something that I'm working on now. I've got a massive list and they probably hate me. They probably got me on a list of their own, and I just keep hassling them. Like I said at the start, it's all about that hustle. Like same with my villages and stuff like that. The more work you want, you just got to keep on going for it. It's just one of those things. If you're in the forefront of someone's mind, even if you are a bit annoying, they know that you can.
Well, it's not like
Sorry,
you
man.
asking for.
I feel like I've taken over your podcast. I just keep talking and talking.
Nah, that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about heaps, and there's still more questions I got for it as well.
Yeah,
But
go for it,
I would have thought the app people would have been a no-brainer because they can just rock up with just a banner, put the banner up, and just talk to people about how good their app is.
mate. Even like if we've offered discounts and they still like last year we had some support from Service Mate Rounded, but I just don't know if like they got what they wanted out of it or they didn't. The Rounded was the only one who actually came as the business. The Service Mate people actually came as businesses that are trained in Service Mate, and it is what it is. It's just one of those things I'm going to have to work. I've still got 3 months, so we'll take people all the way up to the day before, because there's so much space there at Caribbean Gardens. It's like 20 acres, 15, 20 acres. So we're not going to run out of space anytime
Yeah,
soon. So
yeah,
yeah,
even that's a good idea as well. Like someone like they can just send a client who's not far from there anyway, who's like and almost
exactly.
like an ambassador for their product of it.
That's yeah, I know, man. It is a hard sell when it's such a new show too. Like it's easy for say like the Henty, like that show's been running for 60 plus years. So when they put their proposal out, they just put it on their website and people go to their website and they say, "Oh, we want to be there."
Yeah,
That's what I want eventually for our business and it to be sort of like a self-sufficient beast. Instead of me being on the phone doing 30 cold calls a day, and having to hustle reps for their contacts for the higher ups, because reps at the end of the day can't make the big decisions like
yeah,
where they're going. And so yeah, the amount of reps, mate. Husqvarna must hate me because I've got a rep in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney trying to get me through to the top, because the person we were dealing with at Husqvarna unfortunately isn't there anymore, and her email is just it just gets blown back. So we're trying.
yeah. That's all you can do. Um, One of the things I used to listen to a lot was the North American podcast, and they were always talking about the Green Industry Expo, and I thought that sounded like a really cool thing to go to, there was nothing really like that here. So that's almost like the stepping stone of what you're creating, because there's like the lawn maintenance and mowers and that kind of thing that's similar to what you're doing, and then there's the construction, like the Hardscape North H&A Hardscape North America. I think there's like different sections of the show.
Yeah.
You've been over there a couple of times, haven't
I've
you?
been there twice now. It's an incredible show. 40,000 people a day rock through that show. It's a combined with indoor and outdoor displays. It's 80 acres. It's madness, mate. Like we on the first day we do all inside, and we didn't realize that we didn't. This was just the year gone. We didn't realize that we missed a section, so we had to go back inside, finish that, then go outside and hustle around to all the stands, jump on as many machines as we could. And yeah, there's just it is an incredible place for landscapers, for lawnies, for anyone who's in the building industry. Even it's cool because they do have everything. The landscaping section is massive, and some of the innovations, and they also do have a massive section for like Christmas light installs. That's a big
Yeah.
thing over there. I don't think it's too much here, but like it's pretty good. It's pretty lucrative, and yeah, we're just having a chat with all of those guys, making good connections. Like I've been on Brian from Brian's Lawn Maintenance's podcast before, Paul Jamison's podcast. He's pretty cool, and you know I have friends over there now, which is awesome, and even better, they're ambassadors for certain products. And I got to go to Trace Aikens, I got to go into like my first corporate box. So it was like open bar, massive buffet, and yeah, that's just a recipe for disaster.
You
We're-
don't need any encouragement.
no, I don't. I definitely don't. And yeah, when you grow, like we went with a group of nine with international mowers. So that's they distribute Skag, Seppi, McConnell, and there's a few other bits and pieces that are in the works. But yeah, we were lucky enough to go across with them. They're all fantastic people. And the no- the night after, before the KFC, it's called the KFC Yum Center. That's the name of their stadium over there. And yeah, the night before it was a blur. It was an absolute blur because they have something called Fourth Street, and it's in the middle of Louisville, and they block off both ends, and they have bands, and all the pubs are open, and or bars. They're all sports bars, like bars with bowling centers, and mate, everyone just gets loose. And when you're an Australian in the US, and these they're from everywhere, like everyone is from all over the US, it's yeah, it gets pretty nuts.
And
I
did
think
you
I'm
learn a
still a little
lot?
hungover.
Did you learn a lot of from the expo to take into yours?
Yeah, yeah. So we not so much like from like we looked at a lot of stuff, and I saw a lot of new stuff that would be coming to Australia eventually. And you know, that puts me at a bit of an advantage when talking about products and stuff. But the brands that I was most interested in were like Skag. I'm actually a brand ambassador for Skag Australia. So yeah, getting a really good opportunity to go and see them and see what's coming in the future. And then Bushranger Australia, they rebrand Mariama Tools, and they also do a bit of work with Jatco and WeBang. So I got to go and see like all those things that you know will be coming to Australia. Got to go and check them out, and yeah, it is cool. Like you get to know about the products, and you can kind of have a bit of foresight into what you want to do. And yeah, if you want to do something different, you can look at skid loaders or something like that, and you can go outside and dig stuff. You can go and get a geo ripper and like just rip up some turf. Like it's really hands on when you get outside. The first year I went, I don't know when the last time it rained. Like you can't turn blades on or anything. Same as our show, it's just too risky. But yeah, all the diggers digs, the augers aug. I don't know what the plural for that is, but yeah, it's a great bar. I highly recommend it. It's very expensive to get over there just for the show. So if you're going to use it as a tax write-off, you may as well go and do a bit of a trip around. And yeah, it's a fantastic show, and there's heaps of education. I didn't have time to go to a lot of those things, but yeah, there's a ton of education. So
Like talks and that sort of thing that you
yeah,
can.
yeah, from like anything from power equipment brands to business development managers to the applications over there. Like Jobber is really big over there, and there's a few other CRM software companies that really get involved with the community. And yeah, it really shows like the community back them big time. And they're very passionate about lawns over there. Like, yeah, when it comes to Australia in the lawnies community, we're about, I don't know, 2% of what they do. So when it comes to us demanding like these mowers have to come and cut shorter and things like that, like really we are quite a little fish when it comes to power equipment.
Yep. Yeah, so they'll sort of make it for the US market and then say this is what you've got to use.
Yeah, some exciting news though. Thanks to Uncle Trump over there, the tariffs have made things a little bit difficult for them to send products from China to the US to be tested. So I have it on very good knowledge that a lot of battery brands will be bringing equipment to Australia first, any that are developed in China anyway. So that's actually I see that as a super positive thing for like Aussie Tool Time or Tim the Lawnmower Man. They do like, turf and tools. They do those channels to sort of enlighten people, and contractors like myself will get to test things first. If it's coming out of China, it's coming out of the US, then it is what it is. But yeah, it's exciting times. Like it's all ever changing since I started, and I used to do a podcast with Ben from Catch Pro, and that was a couple of years ago. So many things, like brands are changing hands all the time, and even from last year to this year, ringing reps numbers and saying like, "Hey, how you going?" Like just looking at this year's Lawn and Land Equip Expo, and they're like, "Oh, I don't work for, Briggs and Stratton anymore. I work for Toro." Like all the reps are chopping and changing. They're just finding their place as well. So it's a ever moving. Like once you get behind the curtain, it's a different scene altogether.
Mm. So how long ago was it you started the podcast with Ben?
Um, Probably maybe 3 years ago. I think we ended up doing like 130 or 140 episodes.
And it's called Lawn
And
Care Skull Sessions,
yeah,
correct?
lawn care skull sessions. Honestly, like it was so much fun. Like, we've been mates for a long time, and since we were 17, and we basically got to the point where we weren't so much of a business podcast, we were more of an entertainment like podcast, and we just rock up, we'd chat together. He'd be smoking his White Ox and drinking his coffees, and I'd be drinking my coffees, and yeah, wondering what I've got to do because I got to a point where I was so busy that I'd get there at 6:30 in the morning. We'd do a podcast, and I'd just shoot straight to work, or I'd been on the tools all day. I'd rock up at his house at 4:30 in the afternoon, just complete like grass bukkake to the max, and yeah, we just shoot a pod, and it's very good because like he had one side of the industry covered and I had the other, and like I had lots of experiences throughout my week, and we could talk about just what's happened in the past. And yeah, just it was good banter, and everybody loved it, but I've just got too busy, and it would take me 3 hours to go out of my way to go and do a podcast with him, where like right now, like I got home from school, and you said like around 4:30, I made a coffee, came downstairs, did a little bit of paperwork, and then do the pod with you. And that's basically how mine works. I can just jump on, and like I just like to have a chat with people. I don't want to have like yeah, I don't want to have like a interaction where like people can cheekily be sort of structured in their answers. I want to be like, oh yeah, just get them on the spot, and get some real answers out of them.
Yeah.
The
So
hardest
you,
one is brands. They have to be quite
yeah,
yeah, professional.
yeah. Now it's understandable as well. Like, because they are that like if you're talking to them before you start recording, they might be all casual and giving you good answers, but then they've got to represent
Yeah.
multi-million dollar business.
Oh, they're like reverse Superman. Like they'll just they'll be having a chat, having a beer and talking real loose, and then all of a sudden like a press record and they'll throw on the glasses, then they'll completely change. I'm like, wow. Like I can do the same when I'm talking to customers and things like that. And yeah, like I'm a bit of a swearer, so I'm trying to pull back on that. So, I might one day get a sponsor for my podcast. But it is what it is. Like I really don't want to change. Like, you said earlier, I don't want to change what I do because it's seems to be resonating with the community, and I think they'd know if I started not to be myself, and structured up and
Yeah.
became a little bit more professional, really, at the end of the
And
day.
it's one of those things you got to wonder why you're doing it. Like, if you're doing it to try and be professional and sound as white collar as you can, then you want to be like that. But if you're doing it because you enjoy talking to people, then
Yeah,
just talk to them the way you talk to them. Just
that's
be
a
yourself.
hundred percent right. Yeah, it's like that, and we already have to like in the lawnies kind of community. We already have two podcasts that are quite polished in like the Aussie Lawn Stars and Luke Smith from Australian Lawns and Gardens. Like we don't need another one of those. Like yeah, it's mine's just completely different. I'll just get on someone random each week, talk some shit, put it together. Like I said earlier, I don't edit my podcasts. If you're coming on, um, yeah,
Don't make
yeah,
any
get ready.
mistakes.
Yeah, don't make mistakes. Yeah, don't do anything that's career ending because I'm too lazy to edit.
So that's Into the Green podcast is the one you started by
Into the
yourself.
Green podcast. Yeah. It's might not be for everyone, but yeah, we like to have a bit of fun. I just interviewed Tim the lawnmower man. I'm looking to get a few of those characters on that have a little bit of a profile so I can help sort of build my profile and then I'll just get on some people who I know that I'll have really good chats with, and I want to get behind the scenes. Like I've got dealers up here. Like one of the I think like number two search dealer is Danny from Southside Mower Center up here. So I'm gonna jump on with him. He used to, I didn't know, like I just had a chat with him the other day. Again, this is the kind of things that pop up during podcasts or conversations in general. Like he used to be a radio host for Triple Z up here in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a fantastic yarn. And then yeah, just get on some professionals that can fill in gaps for me as well, because I'll never ever claim to be like my wife is the brains of most of my operations. So she does all my accounting and invoicing, all that sort of stuff. Like I'm sure I could pick it up, but she does a fantastic job. Why would I take her work?
Yeah.
I'm good at mowing lawns. She's great at keeping me in check.
So how do you like a lot of people ask me how I balance the podcast and working and trying to do a course and all sorts of and having a family. So it sounds like you've got just as much, if not more, on than what I do because you've got the expo and running six crew and
Yeah.
so how do you struggle finding time to squeeze it all in?
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes, like again, like I'm a very sporadic kind of person. Like one day I'll be like, all right, I got to stop. I'm not going to go out on the road today. I'll jump in and I'll just do all my maintenance in one day. I'll sharpen like seven sets of blades. I'll just come out completely black and covered in blade dust, and then I'll sharpen some hedges. I'll just do it all in one day. And then, then the next month, like I probably won't be so structured and I'll do it bit by bit. Like I just try and I don't know. It's weird. I don't really have much structure. I just do what I can when I can. I'm sure like you kind of know the thing, like with my kids, they're always my priority. Like, we just drove down to we had like a crazy 3 weeks of dance. My daughter, she does competition dance. So we drove down to Coffs Harbour, drove back to Brisbane, drove down to Newcastle, drove back to Brisbane. We literally just got out of Newcastle just before all the floods started. So we could have had an extended holiday, but it wasn't to be. And then, yeah, we had another dance comp here. So, they're always my priority. And then, yeah, you just try and fit everything else in all the time that they don't need you for.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same. I'll tell people I only do one thing at a time. So I'm not doing multiple things at once. Like at the moment, I'm doing the podcasts. I'm not working or spending
Yeah.
time with the kids. But like um, there was like a function I would like to have gone to. I think it was last week. But my son had soccer training, and I take him to soccer training. So
Yeah.
that's what I did instead. So
Yeah. Like
yeah,
that, something amazing could happen at soccer training. You might never get that back. Like
yeah,
I'm a very family focused person, even before everything happened with Ella. Um, and yeah, it's just one of those things now. Like it rings truer than ever. Like you only get one shot with your kids. So make sure that you take it.
yep,
It's obviously sometimes things aren't possible. Like during the day, if Easter hat parade or something like that, I missed out on unfortunately. But you know, sometimes you just can't make things work, and you got to prioritize. Like I think we ended up going out on the weekend to the movies to sort of make up for the time that I missed. And he's still little, so he gets another Easter hat parade next year. And
yeah,
this year has just been crazy. I don't know if I mentioned that before with so my daughter's name was Isabella. The her nickname was Ella, and I used to call her Ellie, and other people used to call her Ellie. So the Lawn and Land Equip Expo, actually, if you write it out, it's LLEE. So works out Ellie. So again, it's like another little kicker. So it's a special thing. Like she's not here with us, but she is at the same time. It's
yeah,
yeah, it's pretty important to me and the family. Like it is a family affair with the show. We will have Lou's sister-in-law and her partner there, and they help us out all day. My staff, I fly my staff down We had like Lenny Lawler last year. We're trying to fly him down, but it's actually his daughter's birthday on the same day. So Lenny started the Aussie Lawn Fanatics like a long time ago. And that's a massive page. So it's huge. Yeah, like lots of cool people. And yeah, it's nice when it can be a family affair. My
Yeah.
mother and father-in-law, though, they won't listen to this, but they're going on a fucking 4 month cruise. So unfortunately, they're not going to be babysitting. So we have to bring
Oh,
our kids.
that's selfish, are they?
I know. This is their
Jeez.
second one too. I love them. They deserve it. So I can't be too hurt. But yeah, we've had to bribe my daughter. She wants a new phone, so we say, can you babysit? And
Yeah.
yeah, you get a new phone.
You get one of
I
those
don't know who got the better end of that deal.
Motorola flip phone ones, the
Yeah. I didn't
laser.
say which phone. No, she's made it very clear which phone she wants. And yes, yeah, she might need to give us more than 1 day babysitting for that one.
have you got a like a timeline or goals that you're heading with the expo, like of how you want it to look over the next few years and how you want it to grow?
We definitely do, and it just all depends on sort of the participation of contractors to actually come. Like we would love to eventually have a like a gala dinner to go with it, and having like 1 day of expo, and then the next day the expo's still open, but there's also education involved. Like we'll be getting people certified for spray tickets and stuff like that, because there's lots of people that you're like, we don't need a spray ticket. But it's like one of my mottos for as long as I can remember is like, knowledge is not a heavy burden to carry. And that never rings truer than when you're an uncertified person doing a job that needs to be certified. Like I just think that sort of thing is very inexpensive. And if I can get a group together of like 50 lawnies, who knows? Like it could cost bugger all. Like it could be a $20 ticket at the end, depending on how many people. And I just think those sort of things are the way of the future of the show. Like having a nice big gala dinner where we can all sit down and enjoy a nice meal with beverages flowing and throw around some awards, and yeah, just do something nice for the community, really. And again, always keep it a charitable show. So we will eventually land on one charity to take care of, but we just haven't found the right fit yet. Not that the children's hospitals aren't the right fit, but with the show, we are going to roam it from city to city. So next year we're planning on a Brisbane show, and then the year after we're going to do a Sydney show, and then we'll drop back down to Melbourne. Eventually, we'd love to get to Perth, and that's been a couple of comments from a couple of contractors. They'd love to see us in Perth, but we have to establish, and we have to get that credibility up. And I guess that is the main goal for the next couple of years. Is just build our credibility, and just make great connections and just network like no one's ever seen before, and make sure that we can actually, yeah, make this thing viable for years to come.
Yeah. And last question for you, BJ, is who do you think would be a good guest to have on the podcast?
Oh, good guess. Have you had Tim the Lawnmower Man?
No, I haven't.
He's a good chap. He's a good talker, and yeah, he's pretty good. But Ben from Catch Pro Australia, he's made something out of nothing. Like he built a Catch Pro. It's basically a side bagger for a zero turn out of aluminium. Like I was there from the start. I tested his first models, and now he runs a very successful business, and he does spare parts for GA, and he does massive amounts of products like whippersnipper racks, tool racks, for all your gear. Like it's substantial what he's done, and yeah, he's a good chat too. So
Yep.
yeah, there's a few people there.
I was actually going to end it now, but there was something I heard you speak about on Luke's podcast, which was an amazing story. And rather than sending people to go and listen to it, I'll just ask you to retell it here. But when you
Yeah.
talked about you asked him what his worst day was experience, and you told him what yours was about someone breaking into your car. Okay,
Oh,
that's
you want it?
the
You want it? All right,
yeah,
cool. So yeah, back in the day, so yeah, I still haven't recovered from it. It pops up every now on my again on my Facebook because I was so disgruntled at the day that I had to post about it. Okay, so went to bed, everything was cool. I woke up the next morning and looks like someone like Jimmy the Junkies jumped in my car and he thought my Sempra, which is nutgrass killer, basically, he thought it was a bit of go-go juice and it was open in my car and yeah, like they'd left my car door open and there was nothing in there to steal. There's probably he probably took some Panadol or something like that, but he definitely had a chew on the Sempra. He's not having a good day after that. But the thing is that they left my door open and yeah, battery died. So I decided to jump in my wife's car, go down the road to we had like a service center attached to a servo not too far away. So I drove down there and yeah, went to get a battery and I bought a battery. I was like, yeah, sweet. Went to jump back into my wife's car and no good. So yeah, unfortunately, I had to put that battery into my wife's car, buy another battery, take that home, put it in the ute. The ute still would not start. So something else had gone on, whether he tried to jimmy tried to start it and take off with the whole rig. No, I have no idea. But yeah, we eventually were like, okay, cool. Asked my missus, is it cool if I take the car? I've only got a couple of jobs on today. They're on the other side of town. She said, yeah, sweet. So took the trailer off. That was hard enough by itself, but took the trailer off, put it on her car, and took off. Drove 45 minutes to get to my first job, and I was going to work my way back. And jumped out of the car to open up the toolbox with my whippies and everything in it, and realized that I'd only taken her keys. I hadn't taken my toolbox keys or anything. So I'm 45 minutes away, and yeah, I basically flipped out and I had one of those moments where a few expletives were thrown around, and yeah, decided that right now was a time to go home and just put your feet up. But yeah, I rang my wife, and yeah, she's good. She's a good sounding board. She had a laugh, but also was like, yeah, we're not making any money today.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
ask if she found it amusing.
Yeah, oh, she definitely did. And it comes up every year on my Facebook, and it just is a reminder that some days are shit. There can always be a worse day. So yeah, it's keeps me humble.
Well, absolutely love having you on, and can't wait to see how big the expo is, and then continue to watch it grow from there. So thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story.
Oh, mate, I really appreciate it. And yeah, if I can just give it a plug again, llee.com.au is our website. The networking night tickets are there to be had. It's a free entry and yeah, zero turn to be won on the day. All the brands you can think of. And yeah, we're really excited to basically network and meet a lot of new cool characters in this industry. Don't forget to tune into the Green podcast.